Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and responsible adults. My name is DM Huxley, and this is Praetor's Rejects. Tonight we are going to play, we're going to jump back into a Dungeons & Dragons adventure that was converted from Pathfinder 1st Edition. This is a pre-written homebrew mega dungeon, which I have taken four amazing players and thrust them directly into the center of. So we have a very interesting situation where we are on round 89 of a never-ending initiative, and there is a wall of death chasing the players down. Before we get started tonight, I wanted to take a moment to address a little situation that popped up at the end of last week's session. I was not drinking responsibly, and as a DM, that is basically like drunk driving down the freeway. I became a person that I don't want to be, and I did and I said some very unusual and unsavory things towards my players, and that's just not the way we normally do things here at Praetor's Rejects. That is the perfect example of what not to do as a DM, and I should have had more respect for my players and my viewers, and for Duff, who runs the channel and put his faith and trust in me. So I just want to take a moment to apologize to everybody for that, and I'll do everything in my power to ensure that it does not happen ever again. I want to thank my players for coming back and being merciful, and in turn I will be 1% more merciful to them as a DM when it comes to combats and all the DCs for all the rolls that they make, and in general
lowered by 1%.
Yeah, and also I think at the very least I can give them all one additional point of inspiration on top of the one that they would normally earn at the beginning of a session. So if you have less than 2 inspiration right now, go ahead and set yourselves up for 2 inspiration. And that'll be the first thing that we square away before anything else happens.
That goes for frickin' frack too, right?
Frick and frack are utterly devoid of inspiration except for the inspiration you give for being an amazing warrior. Boo. Did I hear a boo in the chat? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to allow the players to introduce themselves. We are missing one person tonight. Bright the Tiefling, normally played by Amai, had a previous engagement elsewhere, and so she won't be here tonight. And therefore, I get to be the brood mother, in addition to being the brood father of the players. So,
and the brood.
I'm sorry?
Well, you also play frickin' frack, so you're the brood mother and
I'm the brood mother
brood.
and the brood, so it's going to be a perfect family tonight. Let's start with Yagvin Berbaln. Can you tell us about yourself, Yagvin?
My name is Alex, also known as Sharkbait. I'm playing Yagvin, the Warforged Echo Knight Cleric, a part of the Sausage Party tonight.
Sausage Party. I think that's going to be the new name of the episode. Hang on a second.
I think you should
type something in the chat. While I'm doing that, Edvard Thar, could you introduce yourself?
I'm John. I'll be playing Edvard Thar, the Luxodon Samurai Psychic, and yeah, ready to roll.
Outstanding. All right, and third up, normally we would have Amai introduce Bright the Tiefling. Tonight I'll be doing that. Hello! I am Bright the Tiefling, and Bright the Tiefling is, let's see, I have to refer to the character sheet to remember what she is. Other than just being an awesome tiefling, she is also a 5th level bard and a 1st level cleric. Outstanding. And then finally, last but not least, we have Marlin the Magnificent.
Hello, I'm Loco, also known as Loco 1956 in chat. I am playing Merlin, the 99-year-old venerable, yet at times grumpy wizard.
Thank you, Marlin. Loco. I didn't recognize the Marlin accent.
No, he's, I gotta wake him up here in a minute. He's getting his pregame nap in.
I want him at 150% tonight, because things could get a little dicey.
Get it? Because we rolled dice.
Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I thought that might wake the old guy up, but maybe not.
something I want to wake up to. That was stupid. Let's get on with it.
As opposed to all of your amazing
That's right.
routines.
I'm glad you recognize. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are transitioning over to a map, and as I said earlier, we are on round 89. Allow me to set the scene. We're actually gonna retcon about 30 minutes of gameplay, which is basically one half of one turn. But there are a couple things that I want to make clear about the situation at hand. The party finds itself at yet another barrier, one among many in this sprawling, spiral-shaped dungeon. Here before you, we have a series of characters in a cross shape. At the front of the party is Bright the Tiefling, who is standing in a narrow corridor. And as you can see, the walls, they form a little 5-foot gap where a series of iron gates have been constructed, and they block the path forward. Both of these gates are locked. There is some sort of intricate mechanism built into the gates. It's so intricate that it even includes a diabolical trap. And if somebody picks it the wrong way, they could break a delicate acid vial that is built and constructed directly over the mechanism. And this acid is so potent that it will fuse the mechanism shut and prevent further lockpicking attempts. So it would only take someone with tremendous bravery and perhaps a little help from their friends to circumvent such a diabolical scheming trap. And that's exactly what happened. Directly below Bright is the Loxodon samurai Edvard Thar, with his trusty lockpicking ranged hand legerdemain psychic power. He was able to accumulate some boons from his allies, and he was able to pick the lock. So if you guys are looking at the screen, you'll see that there's a gate above Bright's head, and there's one below her head. The one above is closed and locked, and the one below is open. And as a matter of fact, I believe there was an attempt to pull the gate off of its hinges. However,
I think we succeeded in that.
I'm going to go ahead and retcon that to be the case.
That's fine.
So we'll say that the iron gate is completely dislodged from the wall. Speaking of the wall, the ones on the left and the right of the gap are they seem to have been hastily constructed, and a keen eye can notice that the mortar in between the stones is not fully set, and therefore it is feasible, although it would probably take an enormous amount of physical effort and labor, but it's feasible that if the lockpicking doesn't work out with the second gate here, you guys might be able to demolish these walls in 5-foot sections. It would be very similar to the wooden wall, which had its own set of hit points and resistances, except this time you guys would be battering down the cold stone. You probably have time, right? Probably a couple minutes before the marching wall of death comes around the corner and squishes you up against this hastily constructed barrier. To the right of Edvard Thar, we have Marlin, who, despite not owning the title, at least out loud, I think deep down he knows he's magnificent. He knows. He's already lived a magnificent life. Now he just wants to quietly observe. But he He was the first to notice all of the peculiarities of this area, and as he watches Bright pulling a series of items off of the corpse that she is standing over, she watches Bright pull a +1 longsword, a +1 shield. The corpse is so frail and battered that the plate armor just kind of falls off in segments, with its leather straps long since having decayed and frayed away. The plate armor is literally just plates of armor, not really strapped into place, because there's hardly any body left to strap to. And then a pristine emblem of the deity Helm. Marlin believes that this person, while he was still alive, he was a paladin of Helm. He notices that there are some other objects there amongst the wreckage of this warrior. Things that Bright has failed to notice in the previous round. It will take a little bit of additional investigation in order to find whatever other treasures and secrets this corpse may hold. For example, what happened to him? Why is he laying here? What was the cause of death? Why are there peculiar humanoid bite marks all over the iron bars? Why are there dozens, maybe hundreds of tally marks scratched into the stone on either side of where Bright is standing? So many questions. There's a lot to learn here. And then bringing up the rear of the party is Yogvin Brabon, the Iron Tank. Notice I did not say Electrum because, as I said, I'm being 1% nicer to my players today. He's not made of Electrum, he's made of iron, damn it.
The Electrum skin is like a DLC that hasn't been implemented yet.
Oh yeah, we disabled it. We disabled the DLC.
And I paid $9.99 for that.
So your vulnerability to psychic damage is gone.
Yes.
If you guys take a look at the map, you guys will see that Yogvin has sent his echo through the bars. Incorporeal-ish as the echo is, he is able to manifest it directly on the other side rather than passing it through the bars. So he just kind of popped it over there, and it now sits hovering mere inches off the surface of an unmistakably deadly lake of acid that completely fills up a pretty sizable area up ahead past these bars. The whole area glows in a sickly green, and on the far wall there is yet another dragon statue, and the hallway veers off to the right at yet another 90-degree angle as it seems to spiral closer and closer towards some unknown center. How do we know the acid is deadly? Why, because of the skeletons that are floating in it. Thank you for asking. Also in tow, here on the left, we have Frick and Frack. Kobold warriors, sort of. Maybe trainees. One of them seems to have taken on a squire-like role. The other, I think he's still figuring out his place in life and what he wants to do now that he seems to have been unshackled from the burdens of living in this dungeon with all of his kobold buddies, which Marlin fried to a crisp with a burning blue fireball. And that is, roughly speaking, where we held off last session. Now I want to take a moment before we get started to ask the party if they have any questions about anything before we continue round 89.
We knew that this trap that was designed between these bars was a one-time use only trap. Is that still canon?
Are you referring to the
pressure plate that was...
that,
yes.
And you said you guys determined that it was a one-time use thing?
Yes, Bright did.
Okay. Yeah, that is accurate. The pressure plate seems to not have a reset period. Hopefully that is definitely accurate. The corpse is laying on top of it, and the pressure plate is depressed, and the metal armor is quite heavy. But in Bright's analysis, it appears to be a one-time only sort of thing. I don't think you guys determined what the pressure plate does, but perhaps
No.
with more investigation, you could get a clearer picture of things.
Actually, I thought we did from the gate that we took off. I thought we determined that it was the pressure plate that made it swing closed.
That sounds accurate. The fact that you're saying this implies that I relayed that information to you at some point. And therefore, that is how it is. So you guys were able to determine that the pressure plate activated the gates to swing shut and locked. So perhaps you can infer some things about how this man may have died. However, something doesn't add up. And with that in mind, I'm going to pass the turn to Yagvin Brabaln. We are in round 89.
Yeah, it's kind of a mess over in front of me. We kind of are too crowded. So I'll just keep an eye on the back line. So I'll just take a couple steps back and
Okay.
make sure that no bear or lion will come up behind us.
I don't know where you would get an idea like that. That's just
I
ridiculous.
don't know, but
Oh my. All right. Is there anything else you want to do?
I will move the echo directly in front of the hand now, so it doesn't disappear at the end of my turn.
Gotcha.
And that will be my turn.
Okay. In that case, it is Marlin's turn.
All right. He's had a few seconds to kind of look over things, and he's going to investigate to see if there's a mechanism in the wall, either in front of him or beside him, that will trigger the opening of the northern gate.
All right. Go ahead and make an investigation check in the tower.
All right. Am I allowed to do a? What's it called?
Guidance?
Yes. Am I allowed to guide myself?
You can spend an action to cast guidance, and then you can investigate as a bonus action.
All right. I will
That would
do
allow you
that.
to
Thank
use it.
you. All right. Where is it? Okay. Should be on me.
Mm-hmm.
And investigation in the tower.
It looks like you clicked on the effect that gives you the concentration. I think there's another one for the die roll. Just go ahead and roll a d4 in the tower, and I'll add that to your check. And then you can clear the guidance from your effects.
Okay.
Give me just a second to see how well you did. Alright, so you are examining the wall closely, and you are specifically looking for a mechanism. It's pretty clear to tell that there's no features along the wall. You are able to notice that it's, as I mentioned before, it's recent construction, the mortar's not fully dried, it is feasible to batter it down. There's no, I suppose you're running your hands across it, you're looking for a loose stone that could be pressed perhaps, but maybe not trying to activate it, just being very careful. You feel like you are being very thorough in your check. I presume you check both sides, or just
Yes.
the one you're in
Yeah.
front of? Okay.
Well, I'll move to the other side where the frick is as well.
I think you'll kind of shoo him aside like a schoolboy. You're unable to find a mechanism. If there's one
Okay.
here, it must be exceptionally well hidden. You feel quite confident.
Sounds good. I will pass my turn.
You can determine... give me just a second. I have one more piece of info to share.
Okay.
I just gotta pull up something. So you can determine that the walls have the following resistances and immunities. It's resistant to any bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage from non-magical attacks. It's resistant to radiant, necrotic, and acid damage. And it's immune to lightning, cold, poison, psychic, and fire damage. So it would be quite difficult to batter the wall down. You also determine that the wall has an AC of 15 and 80 hit points. And that's per 5-foot section. So you can determine it'll take at least a minute and a half on average. I know this because I did the math, just trying to figure out how bad it would be for you guys. It'll take 15 rounds to break down the average wall if Yogvin alone was attacking it.
Okay. I'll pass, Marlon will pass that on to the group that he didn't find anything, and that it'll take us a healthy 5 minutes maybe to get through this if we decide to go the hard route, the physical route, trying to bust everything down. And I don't know that we have that kind of time. I'm sure I don't.
I feel like that is more of a philosophical statement coming from Marlon than most people would realize.
If
Everybody's in a rush these days.
it's a microwave generation, whatever a microwave is, I don't know.
Between you and me, why don't people take naps anymore?
It's a hand wave that's very tiny.
I want to just take a second to make sure I didn't miss any information, because you rolled exceptionally well. You can tell that there are, for example, Marlon, if your team was going to break through the wall right in front of you, you would have to break through at least one more entire section of wall in order to get out on the other side. But that is assuming that it's entirely hollow in the 5-foot space right in front of you. It might not be.
Okay.
So you mentioned how much time it'll take without factoring in what may be within this 5-foot space. If it's solid stone, then it could be an insurmountable obstacle. It's hard to tell if it's hollow in there. So it could just because of the nature of stone walls. It's thick enough that you cannot determine if it's hollow.
Okay. I suggest we work on the far gate.
Yeah,
like we're already doing.
Yeah, now that you have the full knowledge about just exactly what the construction of the wall is, obviously going through the bar door would be much faster. You do know that it's quite difficult, so stacking up those buffs will be of paramount importance.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
And then it is Bright's turn. Give me just a second. I'm taking care of a little, an administrative thing. Just somewhere off on the other side of the dungeon. Nothing to worry about. All right, and then it's Bright's turn. I think Bright, being curious, will investigate the corpse again with a skill check. And we'll see if she finds anything else. Pardon me while I learn about Bright's character sheet. It looks like she's going to make a perception check. So let's go ahead and roll that. Okay. It seems that Bright is confuzzled. Maybe she didn't fully take in the tally marks on the wall in front of her, and as she's pulling up some of these things, she's turning around and saying, "Look at what I found!" And then her eyes just catch the tally marks, and she moves across this broad 5-foot square of solid stone. There are hundreds of tally marks across this wall, and then she turns her head and looks at the other side. There are hundreds more tally marks on the other side. Well, let's see here. 365 days in a year. If these are days, God, this is a lot of time. far more than it would take for someone to die of starvation. So, well, isn't this hallway going to be destroyed within a matter of minutes? Why would there be hundreds of days of tally marks here? Did somebody come and stop the wall from crushing him? Was he kept prisoner and fed? Like, what is the deal here? But Bright is just thinking about it, so she's not able to find anything else on the corpse in this moment, and she'll pass her turn. I think Frick and Frack are just kind of watching you guys. They don't really have much to add at the moment. So Edvard Thar, what will you do next?
So after drinking that potion, he got anxiety about trying to pick the lock. And that gave him a little bit of an idea. So he's gonna ask Bright to move back off of the body and the pressure plate, and he's gonna ready an action so that way when she does, he's gonna move the body and the armor off of the pressure plate. And then he's also gonna ask Yagvin, if the gate opens up like I think it might, can you teleport to the other side of it and get ready to try and rip the gate from the hinges like we did the other one?
Sure.
Bright will step out of the way.
Yeah. Okay.
You said you wanted to try and move the corpse.
Yeah, move it back towards us, out of that area.
Okay.
Like all the plate mail, everything that's possibly putting weight down on that pressure plate.
All right. Are you just gonna grab and go?
I'm gonna grab and go as thoroughly as I can.
Okay. Describe what you do.
I put my hands on the the shoulder pads and the leg pads at the same time and just drag it down towards me.
Gotcha. So you place hands on this corpse, on the armor in particular. There's almost no corpse. It's utterly skeletal. There is a thin, flaky, dry layer of leather that used to be human skin covering the skeleton, and the skeleton is inside these plate armor pieces that have since rotted away, so it's literally just the plates. So as you begin scooting this thing, it all kind of scatters because it's not a full set of plate armor anymore. It's just a bunch of plate armor pieces. So you'll have to move these pieces one by one, basically. Which you can do. I'm just describing the scene. It takes all of your time to move it 5 feet because it's all pieces. So you can scoot it out of the middle there. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say you take all your time and you're able to move all these pieces. Could you give me either a perception or an investigation check in the tower? Can you do that with advantage since you're just grabbing every piece as you go? All right. Edvard, as you're moving these things, you know that Bright had already found some stuff. She had found a +1 longsword and a +1 shield and a holy emblem of helm, which is kind of like a huge necklace. It's decorative and it's designed to lay across the armor as a decorative holy symbol. So she has those things already. There are a couple of other things that you find. You find a ragged and long since dry rotten sack, like a stuff sack,
I'm glad you
And
clar-
I'm sorry.
I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, yeah. You find. Never mind.
It just hit you, didn't it?
I'm on my best behavior tonight. And inside the stuffed
Ooh.
sack is it's like almost like powder, and some sort of like trash wrappings. Uh, do you take a look inside just to verify, or are you just not gonna bother? It seems like a huge bag of trash, but something is odd about it.
Yeah, I'll investigate it.
Okay, no roll required. You take a look inside, and it basically looks like food, or some sort of substance that long ago used to be food. There are dried husks of fruits like apples, like not cores, but like full apples and oranges, like long since rotten and molded and shrunken down. There's also like dried flaking lumps of like straight up just a big lump of mold, but you can tell that it used to be a huge loaf of bread. There's also black pieces of material that you kind of discern to be jerky, except it has obviously been left to rot. This thing is full of rotten food. This accounts for 12 field rations that have gone spoiled years and years and years ago, and nobody ate them, including presumably the owner of the bag. Very peculiar. There is another thing that you find underneath the armor on the other side. It turns out, although this corpse was laying on the ground, and in the picture there on the map it looks like he's face up, he was actually face down. You as you're moving him and scooting him over, you uncover something in the process of moving the corpse's long white beard, and you uncover another emblem of Helm. It's like this decorative piece that's designed to drape over the armor, except this one is unmistakably different. This is clearly a pristine magical item. There's something special about this, and it's not just an emblem of Helm, but you guys will have to identify it to learn about its properties. And then you also find within the armor, it's kind of strange. From within the armor, it's like he was laying on top of a bunch of paperwork that is uncovered by the process of moving him. And it's not just paperwork, it's like a bunch of ripped up pieces of paper. A bunch of handwritten notes that have been ripped to pieces. And I'm going to drop something. Give me just a second. I'm manipulating the party sheet. I'm going to drop some items into the party sheet. Come on, computer, catch up. For some reason, we're running a little slow at the moment. Here we go. So I dropped one thing into the party sheet. Looks like it's way at the bottom there.
Yep.
You guys should be able to see that. And then I'm just going to move Bright's character sheet out of the way. And then I'm going to drop another item into the party sheet. And then finally, a third item. So that very last one, Edvard Thar, everything that's typed into that there is, that's all you can read. And I'm going to go ahead and read it because I just want everybody in the audience to know what this stuff says. So, quote, "Came to me a few nights ago and told me you were still alive. At first I was overjoyed. Imagine hearing that the love of your life, who you had to abandon for fear of your own death, was able to escape the trap he had fallen into. I was so And that's when the letter ends because it's been ripped to pieces. And then you pick up another one. It says, quote, "Now he'll probably get to read this letter, but I don't care. It just doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense anymore after the tower run. It has been weeks since we were able to escape, and you still haven't come home. And now you're telling me you plan to stay there? I just can't bear the thought that you would betray our And then the letter ends. And then you move on to another one. And you read it. It says, quote, "Hate every elf I see. I cannot help it. He has done this to me. He snivels and mocks from his dark hole. I wish he would crawl back there and spare us from his wretched existence." And then the note ends because it's been ripped to pieces. And then you pick up another one. It says, quote, "Let's come home. I miss you. I need my husband. Your son misses you. He needs his father. He's getting so big now. He's gotten to the point where he doesn't even ask about..." And then the note ends because it's been ripped to pieces. And then there's another note. This one's a little different because it's a little bit bigger of a piece, and you can tell you're holding the top of the letter because it's just been ripped in half. "Hey, Dad. Mother got me the address to mail you if I ever wanted to. I don't really know why I'm even doing this since you stopped writing back. But she passed today. The service was good. Pastor Fredo said some kind words about her. But he cursed your name. He was drunk. It figures. And then the letter ends because it's been ripped in half, and you're not able to find the bottom half of the letter. And then there's one more note that you're able to read and make out. It is clear by looking at this letter that it is not written in the hands of the other letters. This is also of a finer quality paper and a deep red sepia ink with a calligraphic font. It says, quote, "Deliver this one personally, but I couldn't find the place." Oh shit, I'm sorry. I have made a mistake. It is written in the same hand. I ex-nay on the calligraphy K. Forget everything I just said about the weird script. This is written in the same hand as the previous note that began with "Hey Dad." And it says, "Deliver this one personally, but I couldn't find the place. Couldn't find you. This will be the last letter I write. I think I hate you, but honestly more than anything else, I am just lost. Lost in the dark. A leaf floating down a river. Thanks for nothing." And then the letter ends because it's been ripped to pieces. So those are the details you're able to glean from this scattered pile of handwritten letters. Upon all of these letters is a fine layer of dust that clings to the delicate parchment pieces. They must have been laying here underneath this corpse for years. So those are all the things that you find along the way. It still seems like there are some pockets and stuff within the armor. You might be able to find even more stuff because it's just a big pile of armor, and you know from having been around other warriors that they like to hide their most prized possessions in little spaces in their armor. You are successfully done moving all of his bodily remains into the square that you're standing in right now, Edvard Thar. That used up your action and your bonus action.
Okay.
Anything else you want to do as far as like movement?
I'm just gonna tell the party what I found. Maybe one of you magic users or god wielders can identify this emblem of Helm. I think it's voodoo or hoodoo or whatever you guys call it.
Voodoo your voodoo?
Voodoo your voodoo.
That voodoo that you do.
Love that song. Great song from a great video game. Um, and that will end my turn.
Okay. Yogvin?
I do not have the means as of identifying something because I'm out of spells for second level. So I'll just kind of regard uh what Edvard said and ask if he still wants me to teleport or wait.
Well, if the gate didn't open, then yeah, teleport so that way you can see the lock and tell me um, if I'm about to hit the vial
Y-
when I have to pick it.
yeah, I neglected to narrate that. As you move the heavy plate pieces of the corpse off, uh, the pressure plate is unmoving. It seems completely depressed down into the floor, and it's about 2-3 feet around. It's like a dark steely gray. It looks just like the stone tile around it, but it's depressed all the way into the floor, and it does not rise back up. And you hear no mechanical sounds whatsoever as you take the final pieces off of it.
Well,
Okay.
I will move the echo into the mage hand space, teleport.
Okay, Yogvin, you teleport to the echo's space.
Yep.
Yogvin, as you emerge on this side of the gate, you are presented with this deeply threatening acid pit.
Yeah, it don't look good, does it?
It don't look good, no.
Which side was the keyhole on? Was it the left side or the right side?
I believe that side that you're on.
I know, but from the side I'm on, is it to the left
Oh,
one square to the right one square?
The keyhole is going to be on the western side, so that'll be the left as we are looking
The left.
top
Yeah.
down, and it's facing out towards the acid pit.
Well, I will stand there and kind of look into it and give directions as to how close the mage hand will be to hitting it.
All right, stand by. Could you say that sentence one more time? I was a little
I would
distracted.
like to
You're
look
scooting
into the
over?
keyhole and give Edvard directions if he's getting really close to the vial full of what we could assume to be acid.
Gotcha.
To make sure that he doesn't hit it.
Okay. Yeah, this will generally grant one level of disadvantage because he's having to work from like backwards, sort of backwards-ish. So you'll be
Uh-huh.
able to negate that one level of disadvantage by giving him rudimentary assistance.
Okay. And that will be my turn.
Gotcha. All right, Marlin, it's your turn.
Okay. Having witnessed him pick up these pieces of paper and kind of read them aloud, would Marlin know, or no, I'll say no. Would he know that a mending spell would repair these letters, and not just the paper, but the words that had been written on them previous?
It's a good question.
I know.
Let's take a quick look at the mending spell and just see what we can figure out. I'm pulling it up. I'm going to
Yeah,
read it.
it's not real specific except for a few
Yeah.
instances.
So, I'm going to read it here for the audience. This spell repairs a single break or tear in an object that you touch, such as a broken chain link, 2 halves of a broken key, a torn cloak, or a leaking wineskin. As long as the break or tear is no larger than 1 foot in any dimension, you mend it, leaving no trace of the former damage. The spell can physically repair a magic item or construct, but it cannot restore magic to such an object. My inclination, Marlin, is that the answer will be no. This, you may be able to, well, let's see. The reason I'm inclined to say no is because this damage is not just from rips and tears, but also the passage of time. While Edvard was moving and scooting the corpse, perhaps he didn't know at the time that these letters were underneath. And in so scooting and moving all of these heavy metal plates, he sort of ground to dust several of these pieces of paper. So the other halves and pieces of many of these notes are no longer, they don't exist in a single piece of paper form. You can tell that there's like a fine layer of, like a trail of paper dust that has scooted along as the corpse was being moved.
Okay.
So
not a problem. So as he is putting all of the hardware on the ground, the armor, Marlin will investigate, perceive any hidden pockets or places inside of the armor.
Okay. Go ahead and give me either a perception or investigation in the tower.
I'll go with perception this time.
All right, Marlin. Edvard has laid out these pieces in some sort of order. Probably the pieces fell apart in such a manner that it was just easier to stack them by their shape rather than where they were on a human body. So they're no longer anatomically correct. Also the bones. Several of the bones were so frail that they just fell apart. So you have a collection of human remains, mainly bones. And you have a collection of parts and pieces of plate armor with no leather strapping holding them together. So it really is just parts at this point. You begin sort of rifling through, I suppose. I'm not sure if you would lay hands on this stuff, but as your eye moves from area to area, something jumps out at you. Right as you're about to finish your search, you notice a previously unseen ring on a bony hand. And then, as you are perusing the contents of the plates, you find a small handwritten journal. It is dog-eared, and there are also bite marks on it, as though somebody was biting into this little journal like it was a sandwich.
Okay.
Will you take the ring? Will you take the journal?
Yeah, I'll take both of those, and
Okay.
I don't know if I have any action left or anything like that, but I will.
That can be a bonus action.
Okay, okay, that's what I'll do then. Also did you say there was another amulet or something?
Earlier, Edvard Thar found another emblem of Helm that was draped onto the armor. This one was like on the chest. The other emblem of Helm that Bright found was draped across the rear portion of the armor's chest plate.
Okay.
So the one that Edvard Thar found is clearly magical and would need to be identified.
All right. I'll do that on my next turn. That'll do me.
Okay. In that case, it is Bright's turn. I think Bright sees that you guys may have a plan, and she is cheering you on in typical Bright fashion. I want to check real quick to make sure she doesn't have some sort of spell that she can cast that would help you guys. She does have some bardic inspiration as well, but I want to be careful about using up her consumable resources when she's not here. So I'm going to try
I know she has guidance.
Yeah, I'm just double checking. Where does she have guidance? I'm just looking for it.
Mine's a cantrip. I don't know about hers.
Yeah, I'm looking over hers. I'm not 100% sure she has guidance. I see.
No, she had bless, didn't she?
Yeah, she has bless. I don't
Yeah.
think
Should
she.
use guidance
I
too.
don't think she has guidance. If she had guidance and cast guidance, then that was a mistake on my part. I don't think she has it. For some reason. I don't see it anyway. I'm looking at Vicious Mockery, Light, Mending, Message, Prestidigitation, Spare the Dying, and Toll the Dead. I don't see guidance among her spells. She's got a meta magic feat. She doesn't have any. She doesn't have guidance. Sorry, guys. She can cast a light, a light spell. Maybe
Good.
she can cast a light on the lockpick to improve the light level for Yagvin, as he is kind of armchair general for the lockpicking maneuver. Not exactly the tactical experience you were expecting to deploy, Yagvin Brebaln, defender of the Dwarven Keeps.
You forgot the place's name, didn't you?
I did. What was it?
The Mithril Hall.
Mithril Hall, that's right. Yes. Well, I imagine you
I'd
went and
all
defended
fall.
others. So, there's so many.
Yeah.
How do you pick just one that you love? I think for now, Bright will ready an action to cast a light spell whenever you get ready to do your lockpicking.
Okay.
All right, frickin' frack. On the edge of their seats with anticipation, watching you stack these pieces of yet another corpse, and they're just wondering, like, how much death do these guys deal with on the daily? Like, they are always messing with corpses and killing stuff, like making.
They're not even
corpses.
phased by it.
And they're not even phased by it. They're just doing it. And freaking
Maybe
Frack
we're
look at
the
each
bad
other.
guys.
Freaking Frack look at each other like, Jesus Christ.
We're not
Edvard
the bad
Thar.
guys yet. This is how we become the bad guys.
You either die a
are.
hero.
We are the harbingers of death.
See? Marlon
That's-
gets it.
That's what Marlin says in Draconic, as if educating the young ones. Their eyes go wide.
Can we be harbingers of death too?
Oh my god.
I want to be just like you.
Edvard, it's your turn.
And so begins the army.
The villain arc.
Oh man, I was hoping for the beach episode. I'm going to use up both my inspirations,
Okay.
and I am going to pick this damn lock.
All right. Hang on just a second. So you're using up 2 inspiration. Let's see how we want to do that. You're technically going to have... So you're getting 1 from Yagvin. You're losing 1 from the difficult angle. You're gaining 2 because you're burning your inspiration. Okay, so you're going to click the advantage button down there in the bottom left corner, and you're going to click the +5 button
Yep.
so that they are both darkly shaded to indicate that they're going to be in effect. And then you can go ahead and make your roll.
Fingers crossed, people.
All right. So you got a 2 and a 17 for a total of 20.
We'll take the 2.
a total of a 25. Yeah, you get to pick which one. So Yagvin said the 2.
17.
That's
He's
how
gonna
advantage
pick
works
yours.
around here. You pick the one you want. It's first dibs.
Yeah.
It's first dibs.
I picked. No, I'm the one who rolled.
I promised I would be 1% nicer. Never said anything about what the players would do. So, with the 25, man, this is weird. Earlier, I described it as kind of going by feel. And it's like you got your eyes closed, and you're like wiggling your fingers, and maybe your trunk too. It's like you've got multiple like sensory inputs for the mage hand, and you're just like feeling around in there, and the needle of your lockpicking tool scrapes up against the glass. Shriek! Almost imperceptible. Yagvin hears it, and he's like, maybe a couple times, because you're like, since you've got your perception of the lockpicking tools facing you, so it's like all the controls are reversed, so you're when you move your hand left, the pick goes right, and then up means down, and it's like totally backwards. and it's going to take some time for you to be able to get this thing done. So I'm going to start.
1d4 rounds.
I'm going to roll a d4 in the tower to determine how many rounds it'll take. All right. And that's all you can do for now, Edvard. You'll have to concentrate on this. Yagvin, I think we already know what you're doing.
Yep.
All right. Go ahead and pass your turn. And Marlin, you look down at your open palms, and in one hand lies this small, dog-eared, bitten, leather-bound journal, and in the other lies a clearly magical ring. What do you do?
I'm gonna I'm gonna cast Identify on the ring.
Okay. A couple things I want to clarify. Number one, this will take 10 rounds. As you open up your senses and consider the environment, it seems fairly safe at the moment. It's pretty quiet in the dungeon. In the distance, you can hear the grinding and the crashing as the wall unmistakably marches forward. But it is fairly distant and echoey. It sounds so far away that you can't even really make out the noises. It just kind of sounds like a din. But it seems far away. You think you have at least a minute, maybe a couple of minutes, before you even have to think about the wall in any meaningful way. So, danger is not an issue. You have Frick and Frack, and Bright is unoccupied, so they can all defend you if something were to happen within this minute. So you think you've got the time. So, with that in mind, you'll go ahead and start casting?
Mm-hmm.
Understood.
And as a bonus action, I'm going to hand Bright this journal, diary, whatever,
Yeah.
and ask her to read it.
I imagine Bright's eyes are filled with wonder as you find these items, and it's like, oh, I didn't even see those. And, yeah, she reaches.
Yes, well, it's all right. Go ahead and read that, would you? Maybe there's some clues on how to get this gate open without trying to pick it open.
Maybe it's a wallet.
She grabs it and opens it.
Whatever.
Oh, there's something inside.
And Bright begins flipping through the pages. The text, Marlin, you can see is small and increasingly frantically written. There are sketches. There are small, tightly packed paragraphs. There are pages that have been ripped out. There are tears. It's really a messy collection of someone's thoughts. And it'll take Bright a little time to read it. Say about a minute as you cast.
About that.
Is there
Sounds
anything
good.
else you would like to do, Marlin?
No, I think that's about all I can do right now.
Marlin, go ahead and check off a spell level for Identify if you haven't already done so. As you begin casting.
Yep,
And then pass your turn.
I'll do that as well.
Alright, guys. Give me just a second. Taking care of a little administrative detail somewhere far off in the dungeon. Nothing to worry about. And we're back.
Just a wall moving.
What? Anyway,
Huh?
moving on. So I'm going to pass Bright's turn because we know what Bright is doing. We know what Edvard Thar is doing. And I'm going to go ahead and tick off something for Edvard Thar. Yagvin, we know what Yagvin's
Know what
doing.
I'm doing.
So the whole party seems to be occupied studiously with tasks. So it seems like we're about to let a little bit of time pass.
We just stopped caring about the wall, and we're just like on our cell phones.
What
scrolling
wall?
through.
What are you guys talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
That was still like 5 sessions ago.
Straight up, like, what are you guys talking about? Edvard Thar, you hear and feel a distinctive click as this gate opens. And it echoes its screeching little squeak on its hinges as it swings open off to the far right. And Edvard, it's your turn. I think the mage hand just kind of like waves at you, and then gives you a middle finger, like playfully.
I was gonna say a thumbs up first, and then a middle finger.
Oh, you realize it's actually flipping off Yogvin. And then it gives you a thumbs up, Edvard.
I'm gonna have my echo kill the mage hand.
I mean, the mage
It's not
hand
your
doesn't
turn,
have hit
Yagman.
points and is invisible. Good luck with that.
Yeah, technically, technically the mage hand is more substantial than the echo right now.
That is true.
So I'm gonna go over here, and you said it's on the right side.
Yes, the far right side. Oh,
Flipping into the
trying
wall.
to go over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll use my action to try and rip it out of the hinges like we did the other one, while they're doing their thing. I know I had help last time from Yagvin and, of course, Frick. But I'm gonna try and do it myself, and if not, then they can
Yeah,
help me.
I think Frick comes up and he's like following you, and he sees you're gonna do this, and he like cracks his fingers, like his knuckles, like he's like, and Yagvin, you can hear him say, "All right, let's do this."
God.
But Edvard, maybe
This guy's gonna break both his arms.
maybe you're like, no, like just me, like trying to test your own metal.
No.
Are you gonna
I'll
let him?
help.
Oh,
I want to boost his confidence.
why don't you
They
let
might
him
be-
do it?
Why is
No.
Edward such a good guy now?
He's always been a good guy.
You should let him do it and then mock him ruthlessly when he fails.
No.
Well, you suck. Get in the acid.
Honestly, would have had it if you weren't there.
By the way, Edvard, this acid is unbelievably noxious to your powerful sense of smell.
Okay. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yagvin, did you fart?
No, Yagvin did not fart. This smells.
It's most definitely Frick.
This smells way worse than a fart. This is burning your nostrils. It's not enough that it would cause any mechanical effect, but it is quite distressing to your
Especially with your
sensitive
height
olfactory organs.
Yeah.
So I'm breathing through my mouth.
It tastes.
We're all
awful.
mouth
Like,
breathers.
it's a chemical taste on the air. It's just really hazardous. It's like there should be yellow tape and dudes in hazmat suits walking around this place right now because it is awful. The walls are sweating in this space here. There's like a humidity that was not present in between the gates or to the south. It's like as you're getting closer, it's like humid. It's not warm per se, also not cold. It's just like the air is thicker. You
This
guys,
Florida?
You guys can notice a very thin greenish fog. As a matter of fact, guys, could you guys give me either one of you guys can give me a perception check in the tower?
Is this based off of smell?
Absolutely.
But you're breathing through your mouth.
I will do it.
I mean, I won't argue.
Okay. Yeah, the smell is atrocious. We've already really covered that. You guys can see that this is fairly thin. It looks like it's not like a deep pool of acid. It looks like a huge spill. It's a thin layer of acid that sort of gets thicker towards the middle of the space. Like the first 5 feet are really thin, and then it looks like it's thicker in those 10 feet on like in the middle, and then the last 5 feet, it's thin again.
Something to clarify. When my echo went over, it experienced some wind turbulence.
Yeah.
Is that following over to this session?
Yes.
Okay.
I was gonna actually let Edvard know that he can detect, just like visually, that there is some sort of, like, there's this thin greenish fog with tiny little, like, almost like motes of dust, like glowing motes of dust. Like classic radiation, you know, like a chemical spill in a video game. It's like tiny little glowing green motes of dust, and they seem to be very gently blowing around in sort of a circular way in a wide arc that goes from the bottom to the top of the ceiling to the floor, slowly, just kind of undulating air current, sort of.
It's the elephant's foot?
You look down at Edvard. You look down at Edvard's feet. They're glowing.
I knew it this
It's
whole
the
time.
elephant's foot.
It's my boots, I swear. They're magic.
Who's got the slippers on? Who put on the slippers?
Obviously, Edvard.
Edvard put on the ruby slippers?
No,
Yeah,
Bright
fits
did.
him perfectly.
It's just my boots are similar to hers. Slippers.
All right,
got, like-
Edvard, I think you were going to do something. That's all the information I can give you guys at the moment. But
Yeah, I'm gonna rip this gate with the help of Brick the Cobalt.
okay, in that case, let's make a... Well, no. I'm going to jump over to Frick's character sheet, and Frick is going to make a check here. I just want to see what Frick does. Okay. So, Frick grabs on dutifully, and he gives it his absolute all. And it is laughable. He has no effect whatsoever and cannot grant you advantage, so you'll just have to make a straight up skill check of your own. Whatever skill you think is appropriate.
Go with athletics.
Okay. Give me that roll in the tower. Alright, man. You give it the heave-ho, and maybe Frick got in the way, because you try real hard, and it seems like this one is on a little tighter. Maybe you just, maybe you're all juiced up last time, but you're not able to just rip it straight off the hinge on this turn.
It's because I don't. It's because it's not the Fire Sword Bros doing it together. That's what it is.
That's what it was, wasn't it? You guys all kind of ganged up on that gate last time.
Yep.
Yeah, we showed it. What was up?
We gotta get Frick a Fire Sword or a Fire Dagger.
I feel like that's a bad idea.
I think it's an awesome idea.
But what is Frack gonna have? Is he also gonna have a fire sword?
He has my axe.
No, Frick has your axe.
Frick has the axe.
Frack. The one that I punched in the face.
That
Yeah,
would
Frick.
be Frick, who is here standing next to you.
Oh. I thought that
Yep,
was
you
Frack.
see an enormous... To him, it's an enormous, broad double axe, but to you, it's like just a hatchet. He has it strung across his
like a
back
breakdown.
like a great axe.
He gets the stats for a great axe, right?
He does. I gave it to him.
Oh, it's 1d12 minus 12.
It's one
Even
non-lethal. One non-lethal, or one lethal on a crit. All right, Edvard, you passed your turn. Thank you. Yagvin. One more thing I want to mention, guys. As you guys are taking a look at the scenery here, you can see that the walls that are directly to your south, they're in the same condition as the ones on the other side. They seem to have been hastily constructed. The mortar is not fully set. You could feasibly break them down if you really wanted to, although at this point, you know, what's the point?
We're already through.
You're already through.
Well, you were already through last round.
Yeah, that is true. I will assist the man with the katana to tear off the door.
All right. I'm going to say that you shove Frick the Kobold aside rudely, like very mean-spirited, you know.
Yeah, obviously.
No, I'm kidding. You're just gonna tap him on the shoulder, and maybe intraconic. You're like, "May I? May I have this dance?"
I could do this all day.
Yeah. That is
As my bonus action.
That is Waterdeep's ass.
God damn it.
Half-Life
God,
Waterdeep.
I hate it here. Actually, no, I'll keep my echo there. That will be my turn. Just
Okay.
giving the help action to Edvard.
Too easy. All right, Marlon, I know what you're up to, so
Yep.
we'll go ahead and pass your turn.
All right.
We know what Bright is doing.
We know what the wall is doing.
Don't know what you
Or
guys
do
are
we?
talking about.
It's moving 50 feet per round now.
We'd be dead already.
It's like 2 minutes behind us almost.
All right, Frick. He sort of wanders up and looks
Oh no.
towards the north, and he starts. And he steps back, and he kind of collapses back into the corner, and he just keeps coughing.
Hairball?
All right, Edvard.
All right, let's try this again. To rip the thing out the wall.
Okay, go ahead and make that check with advantage this time. Wow. I'm so sorry, Edvard Thar. I don't know what the deal is right now, but you rolled 2 natural ones. Yeah. Man.
Bro.
So,
Not your day.
God, if
Yeah, no.
it were any other night in the dungeon, I would have imposed some sort of horrible penalty, like you threw your back out or something. But not tonight.
This is the 1%.
Not tonight, because I love my players. Yogvin, what did you do to screw him up so bad? Did you actually sabotage him? Like
Maybe I did. So I'm just going to try to
You're
rip
like,
it off by myself.
You're like, nothing personal, kid, and then you cut his head off with the fire sword. You're like, there can only be one fire
It cauterizes
sword, bro.
though, so there's no blood that goes off. I will I'll just kind of look Edvard in the face and attempt to tug at the door to see if I can get it off the hinges.
Oh my god. Please make an appropriate check in the tower.
It's become a tug off.
You guys are both standing in the corner tugging it. Fruitlessly, it seems. Yogvin, it seems like maybe this one is just bolted on nice and tight. You are not able to do it. You're not able to do it.
You know, maybe we should just stop doing this.
You guys should stop tugging it in the corner.
Yeah, maybe this isn't appropriate for the sausage party.
Maybe this.
This is
By the way, I have named this episode. It hid the. Maybe I didn't do it right.
Just remember, that's the name of an actual movie.
yeah, it is.
It's funny. The name of the thing disappeared, but so the name of the episode, now it's not funny because it's not related to the joke that you guys were just telling. But the name of the episode, we're in episode 10, Eterna fames Perfecti Viri, and then in parentheses I had sausage party, but somehow that is gone now. So perhaps someone came in and erased it.
Maybe.
I can't tell. I don't see
Alternate
anything.
title.
Alternate
Boys
title.
Night with Frickin' Frack.
Boys Night.
With Frickin' Frack.
Oh,
They
and
are the
Other-
main-
Oh,
they
and
are the
also
main
Marlon was
characters.
there.
Yeah, Marlon was there.
All right. So I'll pass your turn, Yogvin, unless you got
Yep.
any more tugging
Nope,
to
that's
do.
it.
Okay.
No
All
more
right.
tugging.
All right, we'll pass Marlon.
Yep.
We'll pass Bright. Frick stops coughing. He's kind of like breathing heavy, and he's got both hands on his chest. And he's just kind of like, like he just like got some bad vapors or something.
Collapsed the lung trying to pull the door.
Yeah. Yeah, he pulled a muscle and he cracked a rib, just like yanking too hard on the gate. Edvard, are you gonna try again? Or
Yeah, I'm gonna keep trying until
your
Dim and Dim
manliness,
One of us is gonna.
your manliness
Until-
is at stake here. So this is really
until
important.
Dim and Dimmer are done doing what they're doing down south. I'm gonna keep trying to tug at this gate.
It's big talk from a small man. Please go ahead. I swear, the die bounced. The die bounced 3 times between a 1 and a 7. And
I hate digital dice.
no, but you know what it landed on? A 1-7. You got a natural
17.
17 finally, yeah. So,
Oh.
so you're finally able to You know what you had to do? You just had to lift up. You had to lift up so it slides off the hinges. You guys were trying to pull.
Our form was just
pull
wrong.
sideways instead of lifting up. It's
I was lifting with my knees and not my back.
sharp twisting motion at the center of your spine. You're able to unshackle this gate from its hinge, and I imagine you lay it directly on top of Yagvin Brabal.
I throw it into the acid.
You do?
I throw Yagvin into the acid.
You throw the gate into the acid?
Nah, I set it down on the side. I ain't gonna do that.
Okay,
And that'll end my turn.
got it.
I beat this dungeon. I've literally torn this dungeon apart
Did
now.
anybody take the plate that was on this poor dead man?
No, we just moved it down to the south.
There are
I'm
pieces.
gonna take the plate.
There are pieces laying in a pile. You're gonna take the plate?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know which square it's in, but
Yeah, you can go down there and grab it. However, it's all parts and pieces. You can
Yeah,
tell
that's
that
fine.
it used to be fine. It looks like it is worn, but like worn down from having.
yeah.
Like this guy must have slammed it up against the walls or something. It's all dented and scratched. It's not polished or anything. Or
It adds character.
it looks like it used to be cared for, but the guy must have just kind of given up at some point. So you collect these parts and pieces. I imagine you put them into some sort of backpack or something. But
Yeah.
they're not functional for anything right now. You may be able to do
Yeah, that's
something
fine.
with them later back in your workshop.
Maybe it's a future product. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm a huge advocate of weird crafting projects and making new stuff based on whatever you guys want to do. Unfortunately,
Other than
this
the fact
game
that it's
won't last,
Helm.
long enough for you to take advantage of that fact, but maybe in a future
Yeah.
game. But that is a fun idea that you can just kind of like keep adding armor until you become a large
Just
creature.
Multi-layered.
It's just like 5 foot thick steel wall
Jesus.
around your body.
Maybe I actually will become Iron Man.
You'll become the Hulkbuster.
I'm gonna change my name to Jarvis.
Y'all ever play those games where you're like a little ball and then you roll around, pick stuff up, and absorb it, become bigger and bigger and bigger?
Oh,
That's what I'm imagining Yagvin is now.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's how most D&D characters are. They just hoover up every single object. Especially in like Skyrim or Fallout. You're just like, candlestick? Hell yeah. Another candlestick? Absolutely, I will. I'll take all 15 candlesticks and all the
yes.
plates.
But that will be my turn. Just
Thank
collecting
you.
the plate.
All right, Yagvin. Marlon, I know what you're up to.
Yep.
All right. And then I wanted to pause here at round 96 and wanted to ask the group if they wanted to take a bio break. We're at about the halfway point for tonight's session. Did you guys need to take a little break?
I'm fine.
Yeah, I do actually.
Okay, no problem. So we're going to go ahead and pause here, and we will be back in 5... You want 5 minutes or 10?
5's good.
Okay, we'll be back in 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching Praetor's Rejects.
No, that's not big enough. No, that's not big enough either. That's more like it. We're delighted to have you with us. To add to your enjoyment, we're all wound up to bowl you over at intermission time with live wire service at our snack bar, where you'll find a tempting variety of favorite foods and beverages. Now it's showtime, folks. And you can be sure it's the best show in town. Your continued patronage is very, very welcome.
Who's setting up shop? We got a cleric paladin who is also setting up shop. We're gonna call our consortium Praetor's Haberdashery Consortium. We don't sell hats.
Is we don't sell hats part of the name?
No, I just thought I'd clarify.
I like it better if it was part of the name. Yeah, me too.
Oh,
That would be very funny.
I'm the head of it, so like we could add that to the name.
Yeah, we will then. We're gonna have shirts made. I gotta get their portraits all put together, and we're gonna have merchandise.
Oh my god!
This is gonna be awesome.
Praetor's Haberdashery Consortium. Parentheses. We don't sell hats.
I would buy one of those shirts.
It's intermission. Rise and stretch time. Time to refresh yourself and visit our snack bar. Got a yen for hot popcorn? Your favorite soft drinks are sparkling cold. The juicy Frank sizzling hot. There's delicious coffee, freshly brewed, and all kinds of ice cream and candy to tempt you. Showtime will be announced loud and clear to get you back to your car in time. So stretch your legs. Come to the snack bar now.
They don't really apply to level 0 characters.
They don't? Okay. All right. So then I won't grab them. I thought that crit might be that extra one. Okay. So here's the regular damage. Oh, say good night, Francis. Oh, that's Chip. Oh. Oh, I'm sorry, Chip.
Suck it, Chip.
Whoops. I thought I...
I'm sorry, sir. This is a private mountain.
But I only wanted it.
This mountain is reserved for patrons. It's a supply depot for all sorts of good things, which people can get at the snack bar. Like soft drinks, candy bars of all kinds, delicious popcorn, and refreshing ice cream treats.
But I am a patron.
Well, why didn't you say so? Be our guest.
Through and you're kind of at a point where you can't really wedge your way in there anymore. You're like,
here, boy. Here, boy. Come. Here, boy. You can do it. Come on.
Yes, sir. May I help you?
I'd like 2 of those, please.
Hot dogs? Yes, sir.
And 3 of those. And 1 of those. And 5 bars of these. And a cup of that nice hot liquid.
Coffee. Coming right up.
Oh, and 2 bags of those peculiar white puffy material.
You mean our crunchy popcorn? Shall I wrap that for you, sir?
Oh, that's all right. My saucer's just outside.
They come from miles to enjoy our intermission.
I'm terribly sorry. Bjorn, you explode, and in your place is a sweet roll.
Nice.
Hello there. Give the demonstration of my new invention, the goodies machine. The machine turns out delicious hot doggies one after the other. And thirst-quenching sodas also. Gives popcorn of the most tasty kind, plain unbuttered. Candy too, crunchy and dandy. Steaming hot coffee and ice cream too. These goodies are at a snack bar just waiting for you.
Private messenger. And do you know how to do that in Facebook? I mean, in Facebook, whatever. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
At least Facebook is still around.
Wow.
Hundreds of years into the future.
Hey, why mess with a good thing,
Go ahead
right?
and clip that one, guys. And you can send that one to me later, too. Thanks a lot.
As everyone knows, rainbows usually have a treasure at the end. Let's follow this one and see if we can find the pot of gold.
There, and I suppose you've come to claim me treasure.
Well, we'd like to see the gold first.
Ethan, there's better than gold in here, me lad. No, just look here, no.
Candy, refreshing soft drinks, Popcorn? Ice cream? Well, that's some treasure, but anyone can buy luscious treats like these at the snack bar.
You don't tell me. Do you suppose you could get me a job as a snack bar attendant?
Brass knuckles he's wearing, and the creature just.
How did the creature go?
One more time.
What? One more time?
No, that was it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. Everybody say hello so I can test my audio.
Hello.
Okay, perfect.
Hello.
Sorry, thank you.
Wait, was that for us or the chat?
That was for us. I clicked the unmute button, but I wasn't getting any playback on my desktop audio.
This is where we found out
meter.
none of us have been talking at all during the stream. No, just...
Yeah, about that. We're gonna have to retcon the last 90 minutes of content. Go back and read the letters again. Make all the jokes about what, tugging it, I think it was.
Yeah, tugging it, sausage party.
Yeah, all the stuff that...
No, we can bypass that.
We can bypass that? Okay.
Yeah, they weren't puns, so Marlon doesn't care.
They weren't very punny. Pardon me while I disable my...
Marlon's busy right now.
Color adjuster.
I'm gonna laugh my ass off. That little notebook that he found is just a book of puns.
Just elephant puns. Sorry, guys. I seem to be taking on a coughing fit. I don't have any cough drops. Hopefully that doesn't continue.
Just like Frick.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. So, we'll move on. It is round 96, and it's Bright's turn. So we'll scratch off what Bright is doing. Frick and Frack. I think Frack is... he's been a little absent here. I think he walks up to the remains and sort of kneels down and just looks. He's clearly possessed of more maturity than, say, Frick. He seems to be regarding... Oh, by the way, he's still carrying around the corpse of Regulus, like a large, squishy pillow, or rather, like a quilt that is folded up, so to speak, because alas, poor Regulus, he's no longer of this mortal coil. Our first character death of the dungeon. His corpse is folded up in Frack's arms, but Frack still makes his way over and kneels down before these remains. Just kind of places a hand on the stone in front of him and just looks. With kind of a solemn look, as solemn as a kobold can manage. Edvard Thar, what happens next?
So, we know that there's some sort of weird airflow thing going on above the acid.
Yes.
Did we get the understanding that if someone tried to fly or, let's say, jump over the acid, they would get pushed down?
Not necessarily. But
Okay.
you could do some further investigation of some kind. Maybe some testing?
Nah, I got the perfect test in mind.
You look over at Frick.
No. Edvard's gonna take his 10 feet of running distance here, and then long jump over it. And his long jump is, with 10 feet of movement, is 63 feet. Which cannot be done with a bonus, even with a bonus action and all that. But he's gonna run and jump and try to get to about here.
I just want to double check that, and I think I know exactly where you're looking. Let's do the numbers real quick. I just want to make sure we're doing this right.
I have the screenshot if you want me to send it to you again.
Sure. I see you got a 21 strength.
Yep.
So with a wait, what else do you have that helps as far as feats and spells and
The
stuff?
boots.
The boots.
What kind of boots do you have?
Boots of striding and springing.
Okay, with a running start, 10 feet of movement. How about that? Unbelievably cool.
That's why I got the boots in the first line of the boots.
Unbelievably cool. That checks
And
out, man.
8 foot tall. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Edvard Thar. Here's what happens. You run 10 feet forward. And you leap. And it's absolutely breathtaking. Yogvin, surely you've never seen anything like this in your life.
How does he just not hit the ceiling?
He just like just floats across. It's surreal, quite frankly. Edvard, as you fly across this gap, you interact with some sort of air current that is sort of floating above the acid. And I want you to make a Constitution saving throw in the tower. As you inhale these noxious vapors that are emanating from the acid itself and floating up into the air. Okay. So you're able to hold your breath. Maybe you instinctually knew, or maybe you just closed up your trunk. But you fly across. Hang on just a second. You fly across, and you land on the other side. And in the distance, I'm not sure if you can see this, Edvard Thar. Let me just double check. Okay. Yeah. Edvard, you don't see... immediately to your right, it is utter blackness. But you can immediately sense that there's a creature somewhere in the hallway, immediately in front of you. And you hear a horse whinny.
Okay.
As you alight on the other side of the pit. So it is pitch black down that hallway, but you can definitely tell and hear some sort of movement, maybe a clumping of a horse hoof. And dare I say, the flutter of very large bird-like wings. Clop, 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 clop.
Okay, so that was my movement, right?
Yes.
And that's me just hearing that. That's not like any check or anything. That's just passive perception, I'm guessing, right?
That was just passive, yeah. You can make a dedicated search. Just describe what you want to do.
I want to know I want to see if I think that the creature has noticed me.
Okay. Let's have you perceive your environment. Any check you want to make. Yeah, just a straight check. In the tower. Okay. The movement and the sound that this creature is making implies that it is 10 or 15 feet in front of you. It unmistakably sounds like a horse of some kind, and it didn't start making its noises until you flew into its view, presumably. If it's standing right in the hallway, it must have seen you, and you are entirely backlit with a greenish, pallid glow from the acid. So you're impossible to miss, you giant elephantine man. Your shadow is cast upon the wall immediately to your northeast. It's just kind of up and to the right. Just imagine this awesome elephant shadow just looming. So it's pretty easy to tell that you're there. There are a couple other features that you notice. On the floor, right in front of you, there's a big 5-foot square where the floor has been colored crimson red. And there's another one kind of on the other side of the stone path that goes down these hallways. And then right in the middle, just beyond the field of the darkness, in the shadow of the wall, it looks like there's another 5-foot square that is colored a dark red. But it's also dark here and colored green as well, that everything looks really weird. But through the light of your sword, you can tell that this first square here in front of you to the right, the whole 5-foot square is colored a crimson red, and there's a matching 5-foot square on the other side of the walkway. And of course, there's another dragon statue up there on the northern wall, and there's another cage made out of its fingers in the stone, and there are objects within. So that's all you can perceive at the moment, Edvard. Excuse me.
I am going to use my telepathic ability to tell Yagvin that I might need his help up here. There's a creature like a horse or something in the darkness I can see. I think he has dark vision. Or maybe he has a flashlight mode. I don't know.
The sword is a flashlight mode.
I mean, my sword is a flashlight mode too, but only 5 feet.
Yagvin, as you hear this, you kind of look up towards Edvard. You see he's brightly lit in green as the acid glows right in front of him.
And if at all possible, I'd like to also tell the other two that be careful going over. There's like the fumes are really bad. They can do some nasty stuff to you if you breathe in too much.
Mm-hmm.
And that will end my turn.
Okay. Yagvin?
In preparation, I will summon my echo 15 feet in front of me. I will step here, and I will have it 30 feet in front of me. So basically the end of the acid. Yep. And I cannot teleport yet because it's my bonus action to summon it. So I will say, wait 6 more seconds, young one. And that will be my turn.
Okay. Alright, Marlin, we know what you're up to, so we'll go ahead and mark that off. And if you want to pass your turn. Alright. Edvard, you hear a clomping of hooves. Clomp, 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 clomp. And something is walking towards you. And from the darkness, walking right up to you, is this beautiful white Pegasus. This is a winged horse of legend. This is some sort of legendary magical creature. They're exceptionally rare, and they're usually a sign of good luck. You know this from childhood fables. There's no lore check that would be required for that. It walks up to you, it looks you right in the eyes, and it just watches you and waits. And then the turn passes, and it becomes Bright's turn. And we know what Bright is doing, so we're gonna pass Bright. Frickin' Frack are doing frickin' Frack things. I want to know what the players are doing. Edvard, did you say you wanted to take a reaction and swing at this thing?
No.
Oh, okay. So it must have been someone else who said that.
So much for that 1% nicer. It only lasted till the break.
I can't control what the other players do.
I'm gonna teeth my sword and like take a knee and kind of like bow to the give my respect to the Pegasus. And I'm gonna try. I don't know if it can communicate, but I'll try and communicate that I mean no harm telepathically to it.
All right. I'm going to read a little flavor text. A beautiful white horse with majestic wings hesitantly walks forward and comes to a stop in front of you. This obviously magical creature turns its head and whinnies softly, its wings nested calmly across its flanks, its eyes staring at you with an inexplicable intelligence. It is the very picture of patient power. It is waiting for something. Perhaps it is questioning you, or judging your worth, or perhaps it just wants an apple. As you
Wrong one.
As you, Edvard, show your respects, I want you to make an appropriate skill check to convey some sort of message. What kind of check do you think you want to make?
I'm gonna go with animal handling, I think.
Okay. In that case, go ahead and make an animal handling check in the tower. All right. So, you kneel down. You make this display. The horse sort of steps back half a step onto one of these red 5-foot squares. Nothing seems to happen. It kind of nudges around you slightly, and it swings its majestic head. It's enormous, by the way. It's huge. It's like a giant Clydesdale horse, all white. It smells clean. Like, it's not just a wild animal. It's like this celestial, heavenly Pegasus. Like, it's a creature of the utmost good. It swings its head and looks out across the pit of acid down towards the south. Yogvin, you see this Pegasus step around the corner, and it seems to almost tower over Edvard Thar, as large as he is, because he has taken a kneeling supplicant position. And your echo is there. The Pegasus just momentarily regards the echo, but seems to look right through it. And then it looks right at you, Yogvin, and you can tell it's looking at you specifically in this moment. Edvard, I'm afraid your check didn't have the effect that you thought it would have. Perhaps you can try something else. We'll say that there was a... Let's see. We'll say that was an action for you to try and appeal to this horse. You can try something else as a bonus action.
That's an action.
What would be an action? Sorry.
Detect thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no. I'm gonna just pass my turn.
Okay. Yogvin?
I will let the frickin' frack, and I'll say in Draconic, stay here. Do not attempt to cross that acid unless the other two say so. And I will.
Yeah, Frick nods. He's still sort of winded.
And I will teleport with the echo.
Alright, so you teleport with the echo.
Now up close and personal with this Pegasus.
Yeah, you just kind of pop into view here. And I want to tell you... I want to tell you what you see. Give me just a second. I seem to be missing a pin, so I need to go grab my Word document and read it from there. Pardon me for just a second. Why do I have so much text? Jesus Christ. Okay, here we go. Edvard Thar and Yogvin. Now you guys can see better because when Yogvin appears, his flaming sword comes with him and illuminates the hallway before you. The hallway before you is shrouded in darkness, but you can tell that it's a little shorter than the previous one. At regular intervals along the stone floor are, well, it's kind of like a checkerboard. And every other square in a 5-foot section has been stained in a deep red. Edvard, you didn't notice earlier because you were so focused on the Pegasus, but now you guys can both hear there seems to be a faint humming or buzzing noise coming from somewhere below the stone floor. At the end of the hall, there appears to be a thin, dark mist or smoke emanating from around the corner. Yogvin?
I'm going to speak in Elvish.
You're going to speak in Elvish?
Yes.
Do you know Elvish?
I do.
Okay. Really? Then name all the Elvish letters of the alphabet.
E, and E.
E-L-F.
You.
What will you say in Elvish, Yogvin?
What are you doing here, celestial being? Are you stuck here, or do you wish to get out?
Okay. Yogvin, I want you to associate that with a skill check.
Yeah. I want to say persuasion, but I'm not really trying to persuade it.
Yeah, you're kind of just asking a question. This is where we get into a little bit of the vagaries of the skills. You can think of any skill check that you think is appropriate.
I'll stick with persuasion because it has to do with conversation and being charismatic, I guess.
This could also technically be classified as investigation because it's almost like you're interviewing the horse.
Good.
You know, just asking him questions.
But I guess investigation more implies like actually like looking at stuff, doesn't it?
It's entirely up to interpretation, and my personal preference is to allow unusual associations, kind of make it distinct from what D&D tells you investigation is about. You're investigating a situation. You could be asking questions and investigating that way, in my opinion. I know Osric would love to investigate everything in the world by interviewing people, asking questions, not just getting in close on a jewel to see if it's a real jewel or not, but like he would be investigating through interrogation.
Well, if investigation can be used with interactions such as questioning, I'd probably go with that.
And it's entirely up to you because I want you to be able to make a case for whatever skill checks that you think that you're going to roll well on.
Investigation would probably make the most sense. I will also use inspiration to grant me advantage in this.
Okay, that is completely fair. In that case, give me the check you want to make with advantage in the tower. All right. What else will you do, Yogvin? We'll let the horse respond on his own turn if he will respond.
That will I'll like my sword's like out, right?
You tell me.
I mean it is.
Your sword is out,
but it's also just like
out.
a part of my arm.
It
so
seems like your sword is always out, and you can decide whether or not it's lit. But I don't know if you have I made a joke when I was running your character about it being like a big old switchblade, ching ching, kind of in and out sort of thing. But
Kind of works like that.
You tell me, man. Does it turn back into a hand?
It does.
That's fancy. You're a very
Because I have a
expensive
fancy
robot.
common magic item that allows me to do so.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll just kind of keep it at my side, and I'll once again talk in Elvish to this creature.
Yeah, I gotcha.
My sword means no harm. It's just a part of me.
Okay.
And that will be my turn.
Okay. Marlin, perhaps you heard the sounds of a horse.
No, he's concentrating.
gentle
Nope,
winds.
nope.
Gotcha.
Concentrating on the spell.
That is perfectly fine with me. I'll go ahead and check that off, and we'll pass to this Pegasus. You make your statement, Yogvin, and the Pegasus kind of shakes his head, like that rotating shake that horses do, side to side, like a rotation. Allows his luscious white locks of hair to kind of blow around, or maybe her luscious locks of hair to kind of flow around her head as she says, in your mind, Yogvin, my dear, there is not a thing you could possibly do to harm me. I am here, perhaps to assist those who are worthy. And it sounds like a woman's voice, just peacefully speaking into your head.
Okay.
And then she says, it seems that the two of you do not require my assistance. But perhaps, clump, 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 perhaps they will. As she looks out across this pit of acid. Down at Frick and Frack. And then she adds at the end, if they can prove themselves worthy. And then we'll pass the Pegasus' turn. And it becomes Bright's turn. We know what Bright is doing. She's still reading the book. Marlin, you notice a vague note of distress fly across Bright's face as she flips to a little past the halfway point, and she's reading a little faster, flipping pages, going back a little bit, going back to where she's at. A vague expression of worry begins to wrench her eyebrows upward. And then it becomes Edvard's turn. Edvard, you just hear whinnies. You didn't hear the voice of the Pegasus.
Okay. Then I'm gonna just try and telepathically communicate with it, just in common.
What will you say?
So, what you doing? I'm here often. What's a pretty just like you doing in a dungeon like this?
Oh, go on. Will you associate that with a check?
Sure.
Perhaps you notice that this creature is beyond an animal handling check. There is some sort of indecipherable intelligence at play here.
You know, I'm trying to get inside this creature's mind. So I would say that it would be insight.
Okay. Absolutely. All right. So you begin you begin to determine the motive of the horse, trying to determine what it's thinking, trying to get in its head. you sense a willingness to render aid, a willingness to be merciful. You sense some odd sense of pity, and you're like picking up these emotional wavelengths just because of how in tune you are. It's borderline casting the detect thoughts spell, just not really. You just rolled very well, so I can give you some of these extra details. You're detecting a hint of pity as this Pegasus regards this motley crew, especially as her gaze rests upon little Frick and Frack, who couldn't possibly make this journey without you guys, much less a Pegasus. The Pegasus opens and closes its wings. It almost seems like it's maybe getting ready for an eventual flight. And you think of the pit of acid, and you kind of put two and two together that this Pegasus could definitely fly people, kind of ferry them across the acid safely. But something is holding back this creature. Some test that people need to pass in order to win the favor of the Pegasus. And that is all you can determine by gaining insight into this creature. The Pegasus regards you and says, "I have been here many times, little one. And I will be here many times more." What else will you do, Edvard?
So I'm getting the vibe that the Pegasus is iffy about helping Frick and Frack, right?
Yeah. It's like she really wants to help people who are just unmistakably of a good alignment. You know, based on lore and through just kind of observing these kobolds, that they are generally of a lawful evil alignment. It seems that Frick and Frack here have been swayed into service, maybe by the fact that you saved their lives, and maybe they feel like they owe you guys a debt of gratitude. So they're allied with you. Maybe it's a sense of self-preservation driving them. You know, they seem friendly, but it seems the Pegasus can see them for what they truly are. So will the Pegasus help them? Can Frick and Frack pass whatever test that you think is going to be laid before them? You guys got across without even having to deal with the test.
Yep. So with that, Edvard's gonna stand up, walk over here,
push Yagvin into the acid. Out of the way, robot.
Out of the way.
Bye bye.
Yeah, they'll just take off one layer of armor.
Yeah.
And then
1 foot of armor.
Edvard's gonna run and jump over it. If he has to dash to make it happen, because he already used like 5 feet of movement, he will do so. And land right in front of Frick.
Okay. As you jump across, Edvard, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw in the tower. As you interact with these noxious vapors again. Alright. You come across a little lightheaded, but none the worse for wear. You are not affected badly at all. No mechanical effect. But it is really nasty. That air. Ugh. Whoever is in that air is gonna have to make this save, and they could be kind of screwed up if they breathe in too deeply. You know what I mean? What happens next?
I'm going to yell back at Yagvin and ask him to tell Frick here, who's right in front of me, to tell him to let me pick him up and to hold my cloak over his mouth and snout, so that way he doesn't breathe in the toxic fumes.
Okay. Do you just say this out loud, or do you send it through
I am saying it out loud.
Okay.
I want the Pegasus to hear me at this point.
Okay. All right, Yagvin, you received this message. You just broadcast it out in the clear.
I'm gonna teleport.
Okay.
I do not want to be by myself with this Pegasus.
Poof, poof. The echo is like, meep. As the Pegasus just stares him down, this giant horse head, almost as big as half of your body.
I'd like to frickin' Frack, and I'll tell Frack to come here.
Okay. Yagvin, you notice Frack is almost, it almost looks like he's in like some sort of odd prayer or some sort of ritual. But he sees you and he just stands up. He's carrying the corpse of Regulus the Flump in his hands, and he steps gingerly around the remains. He steps around the pressure plate. He doesn't step on it. He steps over it, and then he comes up to you.
I picked up like part of like a cloth / like rug in the beginning room.
Okay. Yes.
I'm going to chop it up and kind of tie it around both freaking Frack's head to kind of provide some sort of filter.
Okay.
With my action and bonus action if I need to. And then I will tell freaking Frack, or well, specifically Frick, to grab onto Edvard and hold tightly and use his cloak as much as you can to prevent breathing air. Toxic fumes are above the pond. Don't breathe it in.
All right, Yagvin. You take out this luxurious fur cloak that you picked up in the very starting room of the dungeon, and you chop it up with your flaming sword, and it immediately catches fire and incinerates.
Well, I would have I would have turned off the fire, but
too late. Hands off the chest piece. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, you're able to fashion a luxurious fur face mask for both Frick and Frack, and now they look like they're wearing huge beards. The big brown bearskin. It's bearskin, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that before. There was like a lion skin, tiger skin, bear skin. Oh my!
I think I took all of them,
furs.
but
little foreshadowing there. That I definitely didn't mention last time, but now I just retroactively added it. So they have these fashionable bearskin face masks, bear fur face masks.
Yep.
Okay.
Now I will say, Frack, please wait. The Pegasus might ask you to do something. Let's just delay that for right now. Frick, grab on Edvard, and that will be my turn.
Okay. Frack puts this thing around his face, and he's just like, and he's like, in Draconic, he's saying,
I'm the king of the castle! I'm the king of the castle!
Oh my god.
Frick grabs onto Edvard, just like what did you say, like on his cloak? Just grab his cloak,
or grab him tightly and then use his cloak to kind of also provide another filter over his face.
Okay. All right, so he puts on this luxurious bearskin mask / beard. They both look very rugged and handsome. For all intents and purposes, Edvard, Frick the kobold is clinging onto you. I'm guessing you're going to pick him up with both hands.
Yes, with both hands. Make sure my cloak is wrapped around his little face as best as possible.
Yeah. Okay. Frick, he's a fidgeter. He's not holding still. He's just kind of like very excited and excitable, and he's like talking in Draconic. He's just muttering. Yagvin, he's saying things like,
Wait. Not, no. Oh, that tickles. Oh, oh.
God.
Wait, I don't want to go over there. No, that thing. No, it's too scary. Too scary.
And he won't stop fidgeting. In the meantime, Marlin, we know what you're doing, so I'll go ahead and tick off another one of your rounds here. And behind you guys, the Pegasus inches closer to the Echo, and just stands in the middle there. He doesn't say anything, or she doesn't say anything. She just stands right up on the Echo, nose to nose, and just looks right through it, like right past it, and just watches you guys with this almost dreadful anticipation or expectation. And then it becomes Bright's turn. Bright continues reading. And then it becomes Frack's turn and Frick's turn. They have readied actions. And Edvard, you're up.
So I'm gonna move where the token is for Frick. So that way I get my 10 feet. Take a deep breath, hold it in, run, and jump.
Alright.
Dash if I have to.
Alright, Edvard. You start running forward, and Frick freaks out.
No!
And he just sticks his arms and legs out and just like tries to do like a little barrel roll because he's panicking. You guys didn't really prepare him very well for this. And he's just kind of stupid. So he panics as you go to leap across this acid pit towards this enormous, frightening horse. And for that reason, you're going to have to make an athletics check as a part of this jump in order to succeed at the jump. So go ahead and give me an athletics check in the tower.
Next time, I'm knocking him unconscious first.
That would have been the smart thing. Alright. So here's what happens. Right as you get to here, like right at the very beginning of the jump, is when Frick panics. And he does this ridiculous little lizard barrel roll in your arms. And he distracts you and throws you off balance as you jump. And you misplace where your foot is. Your foot lands on stone, not acid. But the stone here is especially slick due to the raw erosion of the acid nearby. This acid bubbles and boils, and its edges are especially slick. And that's the place where you go to make your big jump, and you slip. And you make a partial jump, and you land here in the acid. You splash into this pool of acid with Frick in your arms. You have a counterpoint?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
As I'm falling, I can see Frick, right?
Frick is in your arms, yeah. You can, and he's
going-
outright panicking.
I am going to use my telepathic shove to shove him 15 feet forward.
I would rule that to be a reaction, but you cannot make that action as a reaction. You can. I think that's a bonus action only, right?
Yep, it is a bonus action only.
I know you want to do that, but I'm gonna have to give you guys some acid damage first. We can still say you do that, but before, like, you know, that'll be like a sacrificial maneuver. Like, you hold him up out of the acid, and then you just kind of punt him with your mind. like a kickball. Give me just a second. I am looking for a little something.
Amaya, while you're watching this video, we're sorry.
Oh, taking care of the babies. Oh no. So
she ain't gonna be mad at us. She's gonna be mad at Ben.
Edvard Thar, you receive some acid damage as you fall into this pool, and then Frick takes some acid damage as well.
Oh no!
Can I take it instead?
Oh, you only took 4. Okay.
So he takes this acid damage, And another thing that needs to happen is both of you are going to have to make Constitution saving throws. I'm going to give Frick advantage because you have well prepared him for dealing with this toxic air. Edvard Thar, I won't be able to give you advantage. I don't think you made any preparations. You were trying to protect Frick, and you thought you would just sail through. Yeah. So go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw while I take care of Frick the Kobold doing the same thing.
If I get a nat 20, I think he should get the nat 20 as well.
What if you get a natural 1, you both share it?
Then I die. Just
all right. Edvard Thar, for the moment, you're able to hold your breath, but Frick the Kobold, he panicked and he just like screamed at the top of his little lungs just as you flew these 10 feet, and you're just like, oh, what the fuck? Splash! And he just goes, ah! And then he breathes in, and it's like breathing in soup. And unfortunately, give me just a second.
He only takes 8d10 acid damage.
Where are those effects? It's always such a hassle trying to find the status effects. Alright, here we go. Didn't I already have this once? Yeah, here we go. So Frick the Kobold becomes poisoned for 1 minute. As he breathes in these noxious fumes. And worst of all, what happens is the hatchet, it dips into the acid, but just the wooden part. So now it's just like the head of the axe and like 3 or 4 inches of the handle.
He can work with that. He can.
So it's like I don't know. I can't even think of a weapon that is even remotely an analogy for that. Just imagine a hatchet with like a tiny little handle.
That's just the size of a great axe for you.
Like a great axe. Imagine a human great axe with a tiny little handle, where you gotta swing it with your arms fully extended, but the blade is like right there, like right next to your hand. Oh dear.
That way.
Edvard Thar, I think you wanted to do something as a bonus action.
Yes.
What did you want to do?
Okay, so you're
gonna punt this softball.
Don't kick the baby.
He can willingly fail. It's up to him, aka you.
Hey, it's not up to me. You got to tell him. It's not up to me. He just feels another punch, just like an invisible punch in the face, and
I guess I'm targeting him, see if he fails to save or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna move him over here. He's all right. Go for it. Bow! He goes sailing through the air like a little red, red sack of potatoes. He crashes into the corner, and I'm gonna give him 1 point of bludgeoning damage.
You just want him to die.
He's still up though.
You're
That's
the one
thing.
who's tossing him around into like pits of acid and stuff. And
Hey, I guarantee Frack wouldn't have freaked out.
You went 5 feet further than he should have, so
what?
You want him to die. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm trying to get him away from the acid, you know.
Yeah, so am I. Fire up, medic.
Yeah, you're in this.
Kobold.
You're
for
in
the
this.
kobold, not me.
By the way, you're standing in this pit of acid. It comes up to your knees, and it burns. It's burning, like it's a slow burn, but it's a burn. And the acid itself.
You were wearing jeans before.
The acid itself is now you're wearing jorts. You were wearing jeans. Now you're wearing jorts. And speaking of fur, the little fur beard, it's like sitting there in the acid, and it quickly just gets sucked down.
So that's my turn, right?
Yeah. This acid is caustic and sticky.
I mean, technically you still have movement, don't you?
My movement was interrupted, so I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I would say that's it. your jump was interrupted. So yeah. All right, Edvard. Moving on to Yagvin.
I just saw a sight. He just
Frack watches all this unfold, and he just kind of goes like, and Yagvin, you hear him say, "Nope."
Look.
And he backs up.
Look.
And Bright looks up from reading. She says, "What's going on over there?"
Look, Frack. It only went bad because, you know, Frick, he's a little spastic.
You're trying to feed him to the horse!
No, the horse just wants to bring you across, but it's also like a weird horse. It's hard to explain.
Yes! Horse bird! Bird horse! It's very
What?
scary!
I mean, it's a horse.
I will kill the horse.
Please don't.
If he hurts frickin' Frack, I will.
Hey, Bright. One of your children is hurt.
Hang on a second, I'm reading.
Tiny book.
Mommy's watching TikTok videos.
All right. Hey, Marlon, I know you're kind of busy on something. You might need to make some more, or you might need to make more trips than you thought with that one spell you were going to use. I'll just step here and kind of like look at Edvard. I can't really help him in any way, shape, or form, but I'll just like
Sucks to suck,
keep an eye
dude.
on him. Yeah.
I'd throw you a rope, but you know, acid.
Yeah, I'm fine.
It's about high tide. Yeah, I'll just kind of look and make sure that he doesn't, like, I don't know, probably, like, melt to, like, nothing in the pool.
Okay.
That'll be my turn. I'll just kind of look to Frick. Frick, you all right over there, buddy?
Frick is, he's disoriented for a moment.
Frick, if you attack the horse, you're gonna die, so just leave it alone. You'll be fine, okay? Okay. That'll be my turn.
All right. Marlin, we know what you're doing. Do you have any response to what Yagvin said?
He'll hold up a hand, like, nope.
Okay. Yeah, Marlin, you're
With a hand.
you're very close. At the end of the next turn, you'll be able to identify the item.
All right.
All right. The Pegasus. The Pegasus watches, and it's kind of comical because it's such a big horse. The Pegasus, like, his head, or the Pegasus's head, she turns her head, watches Frick fly by like a sack of red potatoes, slam into the cold stone, and she kind of steps back a little bit, and then turns to face Frick and leans her head down. Frick is disoriented, and then his eyes kind of stop swimming, and then the Pegasus gently nuzzles Frick the kobold, and Frick just like squeezes tightly into the corner as tightly as he can, and seems to be trembling in fear. But the Pegasus makes no threatening, attacking sort of movements
Just nuzzling.
for the moment. Maybe
Yeah, for the moment.
sniffing in preparation for a bite? Question mark. Is that what a Pegasus would do?
I don't think so.
You guys can feel free to make a knowledge check if you want to try and learn more. In the meantime, we'll say that it's Bright's turn. Bright will continue reading the book. She looks up and she says,
Frack, do what your father says.
What?
I don't know, I'm just making jokes about an absent mother.
Did it 'cause she's not here.
I'm sure Bright would probably be much more involved, but I don't want to use up all the precious resources that Bright has, so I'm trying to play this one just a little comedically. Frick, excuse me, we'll do Frack first. Frack cautiously steps forward, just watching the Pegasus interact with Frick, just waiting for something awful to happen. He's just like just very intently watching across the acid pit. And from his point of view, it's like everything beyond the acid pit is like slightly distorted. It's almost like this heat wave sort of effect, you know, just because of how noxious the fumes are. So it's just like this odd look. Everything just looks vaguely dangerous on the other side of the pit. And of course, Edvard is in it, so that's distressing. But he's a hero. Frack knows this, so he'll be fine. Frick, he fumbles for his axe, but he's not able to grab it. He's grabbing the space where the handle used to be, and he can't grab it, so he's not able to draw the axe this turn. But you can see he's kind of in a panic state, and he's got a nosebleed, and he's just like he's fearful. He's just fearful. Edvard, let's see here. Give me just a second. At the beginning of your turn, Edvard, you take more acid damage because you started your turn in the field of acid.
Better me than Frick.
I mean, that's almost double his hit points.
All right, Edvard, what happens next?
So I'm assuming difficult terrain.
Yes, definitely. Also, I'm sorry, Edvard. Also, you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, okay.
You're tough, man. You're able to withstand these fumes. And you step out of the acid. You look down, you can see that this acid has clung to your body. And it's going to continue burning until you take an action to smear it all off of you.
Frick's also covered in the acid, right?
Frick got some collateral damage. He got a little bit of splash damage, but he's not taking persistent damage like you will.
So, I'm going to pull out a certain magic item that I've gotten from this wonderful dungeon.
Don't say the words.
I'm not saying those words.
Okay.
I didn't prepare for this. What would a trunk Pegasus say?
Yeah, no, I'm doing it for that.
Hop on, watch this.
No, I'm going to grab the mug and, like, use it to basically power wash the acid off of myself.
Which command word will you use?
I need to... Drunk power washing dad mode.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up so that way I can actually see the command word.
Did I give you the item?
Yeah.
I didn't give you the actions. I don't think we really have to.
Don't say chug the mug.
That's not one of the actions, I'm pretty sure.
There it is, the decanter. Yeah, I didn't give you the actions on your action tab, but it does have the listing of the different abilities. And yeah, I'll say that this will suffice. One of those command words will probably be just right. The others, it might be a little much.
I mean, I'm an 8-foot-tall Luxodon, and half of me is covered with this sticky acid. I got to do it. I'm going to actually, instead of going up to Frick, just go up to here, so that way I'm a little bit away from him. I got my back to the wall behind me, right?
Okay.
And I am facing just the way my character is, straight down the dark hallway.
So you are facing to the right.
Yes.
And your back is facing to the left.
Yes. And I'm going to take this decanter of endless ale, and I'm gonna say geyser as I power wash this acid off of me.
Okay. And where do you aim the decanter of endless ale when you pronounce the command word. Like down at your feet, or
that's where most of the acid is, right?
Yeah, it's
Is your mouth open?
It's like knees.
Yes.
It's like knees down.
Yeah, I'm basically just pointing it down and just kind of like aiming it to where I need to.
Okay.
Where most of the acid is.
So you pronounce the word geyser. You focus your mind on this decanter of endless ale, and you produce 30 gallons of beer that gushes forth in a geyser 30 feet long and 1 foot wide. As a bonus action, while holding the decanter, you aim the geyser at your feet. I want you to make a strength saving throw. That's exactly what the beer sounds like.
Does my echo need to make the saving throw?
Splash effect.
Absolutely,
yes.
It does.
Okay. It just uses my
that's gonna be
saving throws.
That's gonna be you, yeah. So roll it as though you took the geyser. All right, Yogvin. All right, Edvard. Yogvin, your echo flies away.
Oh.
I want to see if you guys can see it. No, you cannot. So it just flies into the darkness. Whoosh!
Oh my god.
And Edvard, you're able to withstand the torrent of this this geyser. Get it? Torrent. That's an inside joke. That's a deep cut.
That's a yawning portal joke.
Yes, it is. Funnier because it's a decanter of endless ale. But Edvard, you blast this acid off of you. For the most part, you feel like you might take a little bit of damage on the next turn, but after that, you'll be good. So you're able to clear it out. You don't fall prone. You don't blast yourself up onto the ceiling like a little ale rocket. You're good. The horse and, like rears up on its hind legs and like kind of kicks its front legs forward a little bit, just in the sheer surprise of this geyser of ale blasting forth.
It might be overkill, but it got the job done.
Overkill's my style. What can I say?
I just love how the echo, from my point of view, just goes light speed in the right direction.
I do want to take a moment.
More like drunk speed.
I do want to take a moment to applaud Loco, who is on the ones and twos tonight. He found the perfect ambiance for the situation we're in. It sounds like a creepy, windy tunnel with like a lone horse braying and whinnying in the distance, with the echo coming down this like canal. I don't know why Sirenscape has this mixture of sounds, but it's perfect. And thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's so good. It's so good. Edvard, Frick is snapped out of his fear for a moment just at the sheer novelty of what you just made happen. And so you got a little window here. I don't know what you can do with it, but Frick has your attention in this moment. So is there anything else you can do? All you did was move and use an action. Oh, you also use your bonus action to aim the geyser. Damn. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's all, man. So that opportunity is wasted.
Yeah, I can't like try to communicate with him. So.
Maybe someone else can. Speaking of which, Yogvin, when does your echo die? Is it any time it's outside of the range? Like,
it's only at the end of my turn that it disappears.
Yeah, so it kind of got just like shoved way outside of your normal range, but it's still out there. You can feel it.
I guess I'll have him move toward the left direction.
Do you have to be able
I guess
to
the
see
western?
the echo?
I don't know.
In order to make it.
I will look real quick.
But let's see here.
It's like no one
mentally command it.
The echo being moved by alcohol.
You can mentally command the echo to move up to 30 feet in any direction. Okay, so it implies that line of sight is not required. You have to summon it into a space that you can see, but as far as the movement goes, you can just give it a raw command. Move 30 feet to the left. Something like move 30 feet west.
Uh-huh.
So it has some semblance of intelligence that's tied to your commands. So yeah, if
Yeah.
you want to make it move, do so.
Yeah, I'll have him make him go west from where he is.
How far?
30 feet. Or
So
until
out of the
he
darkness,
hits.
he flies
Okay.
back, and he's drenched. He stinks of alcohol.
Takes out the sword,
Stinks
and he
of
holds it
rot
above
gut booze.
Edvard. Oh, jeez.
Pulls a
I'll,
sword out. Things are getting dicey.
I will
Hey.
look to Frack from across the pond, and I'll yell his name. Does he look in my direction?
You're talking about Frack?
Or Frick, not Frack.
Frick? Yeah. We can say that you could take advantage of that momentary clarity. So Frick has your attention. So what do you want to say?
Frick, leave the horse alone. It's not going to do any harm to you unless you harm it. Stick close to Edvard. He'll protect you. You trust Edvard, right?
Not after that is.
It's all right. Just stay close to him. Whatever passed is gone, I guess. Maybe lick the ground if you want. It might help.
Hang
I will
on.
still just stay back here
Yagvin,
to make sure.
I'm gonna need you to associate that with a skill check in order to actually get through him. Because this is a bit dicey, you know. He's on the verge of like
he's
outright panic.
a panic attack.
He's
Yeah.
been thrust into this situation and he's kind of freaking out. You know, the whole thing is scary enough without the giant horse breathing down his neck.
I'll do a persuasion so I'm not intimidating him on an already stressful situation.
Okay, go ahead and give me that check. Oh, buddy.
It's one of my best skills, man.
It's like a luck roll.
It really is.
Well, you got an even number, but it wasn't very high.
It's a 2.
It was, you got a 6, man. I'm sorry. So,
Aw.
unfortunately, Frick is not swayed.
Okay. I'll just look to Edvard and say, yeah, like, I think Frick is at, like, a state of which I don't know what he's doing. He's not listening to me. Hey, Bright, you might want to tell your kid to not attack a horse. That'll be my turn. I'll stay next to Frank and the rest to make sure nothing else happens.
Okay. Marlin.
Yeah?
In spite of all the distractions going on around the corner, you're able to focus, and at the end of the turn, or excuse me, at the no, I said the end, yeah. At the end of the turn, you identify the item. Could you please, however, make an Arcana check in the tower? I just need to verify something. All right. All right, Marlin. This peculiar ring. Marlin, this is a ring of sustenance. A solid platinum and bronze ring with a setting that looks like a wreath of black branches with leaves. While you wear this ring, you do not need to eat or drink. In addition, you gain the benefits of a long rest, with half the amount of rest that you would normally require. You still cannot gain the benefits of a long rest more than once per day. So that is what you identify as far as the magic item.
All right.
However, there is something hidden beneath this magic. Something foul. And this feeling crept up on you as you continued to cast the spell. identification of magic, can you take a moment and just take us through Marlin's mental process or the exploration of the item? And how does he uncover the magic? If you could take a moment to tell us about that.
Well, he doesn't put it on, number one. He just holds it in his hand, and he concentrates on its past, its history, possibly back to even when it was made or constructed, and then he reaches into the magical realm that surrounds the ring to identify, for lack of a better word, what properties this magic has, good, bad, indifferent, and how they were imbued to the item. He's not so much concerned with who or what it was that made this item magical, but what the what is it, like evocation and all that, the the school of magic that it came from. Yeah.
As you continue unraveling the inner workings of the ring, you begin piecing together a portrait of sorts. It's like you get flashes of the item in action. Marlin, you begin to feel something unusual in your gut. It's like a pang of hunger, or perhaps a flash of dizziness. You feel slightly hot and cold. And then there's another pang of hunger, this time much more intense. And this happens a couple times over the course of a minute until it becomes almost unbearable. But you are not affected by the curse that this ring bears.
Yeah. I figured that's what that was.
And you identify that this is not a ring of sustenance. This is a devastating torture device called a ring of eternal hunger. Where once you saw that the solid platinum and bronze ring had a setting of leaves and branches wrapped around it, now as you take a closer look, you can see that they're actually twisted, gnarled, blackened branches with withered leaves and many bare spots. This clever torture device functions as a ring of sustenance. That means you don't have to eat or drink, and you gain the benefits of a long rest with half the amount of rest that you would normally require. But it cruelly forces the wearer into experiencing a starvation that it cannot escape. As the ring is put on, the wearer makes a DC 14 Wisdom saving throw. On a success, the wearer is made aware of the curse and can remove the ring. Otherwise, the ring cannot be removed under any means, unless the wearer is targeted with an effect that can remove curses. So, as I mentioned before, it works just like a ring of sustenance. So you don't need to eat or drink in order to continue, living, and you gain the benefits of a long rest with half the amount of normal rest. However, while the ring is worn, you are plagued with an intense hunger that you cannot quench through any means. Every hour while the ring is worn, you gain 1 permanent level of exhaustion, up to a limit of 4 levels of exhaustion from this effect. Paradoxically, you become intensely nauseated by the presence of food or drink, and you cannot willingly eat or drink. If you ever ingest food or drink, you immediately vomit and become paralyzed for 1d4 minutes, no save. And you can never benefit from potions unless you are unconscious. And as you continue unraveling deeper depths of the ring's power, you realize that, it's one of the more insidious torture devices that you ever beheld in your whole life. This is unbelievably diabolical. And then your eyes glance down to the corpse in front of you, and then over to the wall with its many tally marks. You look at the gates with their many bite marks. You look at the torn letters. This man's life was assassinated. His family thinks that he was abandoned, and he was left here to starve. How long, only the gods may know. You're able to piece all this together now that you have all the information. You look over to Bright as she finishes reading. Her eyes are welling up in tears. And she tells you that this journal, it doesn't have many pages in it, but it clearly depicts a man who loses his mind through the course of some indeterminate amount of time. He goes on and on about starving forever, being stuck alive in this 5 foot by 5 foot by 5 foot cage, this artificial place, this anti-realm, being so hungry, but being sickened by the rations to the point of vomiting. There are many mentions of food. There are handwritten recipes in the book. There are moments where he's just wishing for water, wishing he could eat or drink anything, wishing he could bite through the bars, wishing to drink the acid. One of the last things in the book that Bright mentions is that the wall, it split around him in order to keep him alive. And one day, a thin man came and delivered a package of letters and left a table of food and drink just outside of arm's reach. Never said a word. Just smiled and walked back into the darkness. And the last words on the last page say, "I wish to die, but I cannot, for I am too hungry to die." And Bright has tears in her eyes as she explains this to you. Frack comes over. He's kind of distracted momentarily. Frack, I can't do that because I have plans for Frack. Frack is distracted, so I can't do anything with Frack, but this is just awful. Such an awful fate.
Marlin says,
this.
He holds up the ring.
No, not this.
Yeah, this is...
The proprietor, he killed.
Mm-hmm.
He killed this man. Whoever this is, whatever this is.
I just don't know why.
He's evil. He enjoys suffering. To watch suffering?
Most definitely. I don't want to be here anymore.
Then let us go.
Is there anything we can do to help him?
And she's looking down at the corpse. She's clearly thinking about the last corpse that you guys were able to help. But this corpse is in many bits and pieces. Most of it is missing. And so is the jaw. Paradoxically, the jaw is missing. Now, Marlin, that you know exactly how this poor man met his most miserable fate, your eyes glance immediately to the teeth, and you see that they're almost all missing. And they look like they're worn down to little, what must have been a horrible scene, just bloody stumps of gums, chewing mindlessly on these bars, long since having perished the thought of being a normal man. Just an animal trapped in a cage to suffer. It's just awful. So, you know that a Speak with Dead spell would not work, because it is missing its jaw.
There's nothing we can do here. We must get out.
In the distance, the wall churns onward. Is there anything else you can do, Marlin?
He's going to take the ring and he's going to put it in a little pocket, in a kind of like if you have a three-piece suit, you have those two little chain pockets.
Yes.
He puts it in a little pocket like that.
Very carefully, not to accidentally slip it on your finger. Jesus Christ.
Holding it by the sides. He puts it in.
Good.
Let us go. Let us go meet up with the others.
Okay.
And what he is going to do, well, he'll do it his next turn because he just finished the spell, but he's going to do something his next turn as he does walk. Going to go here and then right to there.
Okay, you step past Frack. Let's say Frack moves into the room with you.
Okay.
Marlin, you step in here for the first time, and the air is utterly noxious. And there is an unmistakable creature of legend standing at the end of the hall. It is a Pegasus. This is an extremely rare occurrence. You don't even have to roll to know. But this is a legendary creature, and this is an extremely rare and, dare I say, blessed occasion. And whereas most of the people here are getting impressions that this is like a tricky, fey-like creature, Marlin, you know that this creature is looking into the heart of each person. And this creature is an ally to good and a nightmare to evil. You know that the alignment of Frick and Frack is up in the air at the moment, but classically speaking, kobolds are lawful evil, working class types of creatures. They're lawful evil because they're very tricky and manipulative, but in essence they're trying to survive. And they're not trying to take over the world. I don't think it's ever going to get to that point, but they do exert control over their community. They form a society, and you've definitely seen neutral kobold communities in the past. So you think that these two younglings may be reformable. The Pegasus may not harm them, but it is certainly judging them. And then you notice Frick in the corner, fidgeting for something behind his back, with every expression of fear that you could perceive on a little lizardy face. You think he may do something very stupid very soon.
All right, he'll make eye contact with him, hold his hand up.
I wouldn't advise that if I were you, if you wish to live.
I imagine you say that in Draconic.
Yes.
Frack calls out as well across the chasm of acid here. He says,
"Brother, no! Wait!"
Is there anything else you can do, Marlin?
No, I think that's everything. I will do something on my next turn, though, but that's it.
Okay. The Pegasus sees... well, first of all, the Pegasus was distracted by a blast of ale. Ice-cold ale at that. Very refreshing for all parties involved. So he reared up on his hind legs, which only scared Frick more. I think the only thing that scared Frick more than that was just the sheer novelty, as I mentioned earlier, of this blast of ale coming from the mug. So Frick, he was delayed for a moment, but when the Pegasus lands back down on its hooves, it's very scary. And he just like slams his hooves into the pavement. So Frick again, he was about to reach for something. But it's not his turn yet, so he hears all of the pleas from Yogvin and Marlin and Frack. Don't do anything stupid, is the consensus of the group, I think. And the Pegasus doesn't do. The Pegasus doesn't bite. He doesn't kick. He was just caught off guard by this event. So the Pegasus just waits for a moment. And with that, we're gonna enter round 101 of this dungeon. And far, far off in the distance, you guys hear a voice. It says, "At last, my time has come! Yes, yes, please come!" As the wall demolishes the stone-faced bureaucrat, and I can finally delete him off of the tracker.
Oh, thank God.
And now you guys know exactly where the wall is located. And that's where we're going to hold off for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because it's just about midnight. And I think we reached quite a rousing story arc moment. You know, we went through the whole, life and death of this poor paladin of Helm, suffering a fate seemingly worse than death, if ever such a thing could be devised. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to end it on such a sad note, but that's life in the dungeon. That's life in this awful dungeon. I wanted to thank all of the players tonight. You guys did an awesome job. I think we got quite a lot accomplished. I thought this encounter with the paladin could have gone a couple different ways, believe it or not, depending on the items you were carrying, the spells you had, the scrolls you might have had and used. A lot of different things could have happened. And honestly, this Pegasus situation is shaking out pretty interestingly too. I kind of forgot that you guys had so many alternative ways to get across. And this is just very cool and interesting. And the fact that we're dealing with the light situation, like you guys can barely see what's going on down this hallway, I'm really enjoying that. I need to make a couple programming notes related to what's going to happen next with our game. Number one, I believe, Loco, you said you won't be available next week. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, won't be here.
Okay. If you just want to shoot me a little message off to the side and just let me know what Marlin wanted to do in maybe the next couple turns. You kind of had to extrapolate a little bit, but I want to try to play you pretty carefully too, because you've got precious resources that need to be preserved, but you also have great power. So you just think a little bit about what you may want to do regarding the acid pit or the Pegasus, or whatever else you may have in mind. And I promise I probably won't have Marlin put on the Ring of Eternal Hunger.
Maybe.
That would be nice.
Just throw it into the acid and just walk away. The next programming note, guys, is that we will not be playing the game on the 30th of September. And the reason for that is because I will be driving back home to Beaufort, South Carolina, all week long from the 26th through the 30th. And so when I get home, my computer's going to be all packed up, and I'm not going to want to do anything except hang out with my family and go to bed. And
can't blame you.
And the other caveat to that is it may very well be the case that next week's game on the 23rd, it might be our very last game of this whole campaign, because once I get back home, I'm going to be jumping into a civilian job pretty quickly, coming off of my military orders, and I have no idea at all what my schedule is going to be like, so I might not be able to play the game anymore, just depending on how things go. We always knew, guys, that this was just a playtest. What we didn't know was that it would take forever to go 5 or 10 rounds. I've learned so much about running the game. I understand so much more about pacing thanks to you guys. And of course, in a normal game with a normal story-based adventure, there's so much more opportunity for things to move faster because we're not always in initiative. That's the thing that really broke our backs with this game, was that we're always in initiative. So things just grind straight to a halt. And we are so methodical. I think it's worth doing. I think you guys are having fun with it, but it also is such a tax on our time. So we definitely didn't get to cover as much as we wanted to. I'm hoping that I can find a job that will give me the free time to run the game on Friday nights. There is a chance we may be able to do this on a different day of the week, depending on you guys' availability. But I just wanted to let you know up front, for all intents and purposes, I will consider next week's episode to sort of be the finale. Because I don't have high hopes about my free time. So, thank you for playing. Thank you for being good sports. Thanks for making such cool, interesting characters when you didn't have to. Like, these characters have really evolved into an awesome and interesting interactive team. And you guys are all very expressive with your backstories and your relationships with each other. I think Frick and Frack are really cool side effects. I had no idea that Frick and Frack would exist until you guys locked the gates, and then I was like, they're still there. Am I gonna just have them die, or can I, like, what happens if they save these guys? You know, it just totally came up out of thin air, so that was fun. Yeah. So many cool moments, guys. This is what we live for. This is what D&D is all about. In the meantime, let's go ahead and call it a close for tonight. Anybody who's watching the channel, thank you very much for watching tonight. We have a lot of interesting stuff that happens on Praetor's Rejects. There's a game that comes on Monday nights. I think that's called Strixhaven. Excuse me. Strixhaven, A Curriculum of Chaos. I think that comes on at 7 p.m. with DM Esquire. Eastern. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I haven't had a chance to tune in lately because I've been doing a lot of work with my military job. So I don't really know what's going on there. But they basically go through the whole Strixhaven college experience. And it's an all-female cast. It's a whole lot of fun. Highly recommended. On Saturdays, normally, we have Rise Against the Slave Lords with Lord Praetor himself, DM Duff. That's also an all-female cast. And every now and then, there's gaming events that pop up on Praetor's Rejects. I think the direction Duff is going in is to add more video games into the mix. I know the other night the boys were playing what is it called, like tanks, or like war tanks.
War Thunder.
Oh, War Thunder. Excuse me. I don't play War Thunder. I don't know anything about it. It looks like a fun little game. I'm a Battlefield 1942 man myself, but it's same time period, so pretty much the same exact game, you know. Except wildly different. I see so much complexity in War Thunder that it, like, I don't know where to jump in. Maybe one day we'll see. But that pops up on a non-regular, like non-scheduled basis. So just watch the space. Feel free to join the Discord. There's always fun little memes and jokes and stuff going on. You can always tell when someone's playing a game. They usually jump into the Discord voice chat to kill tanks and shoot at aircraft together. It looks like a lot of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is DM Huxley, and we have been playing the game Praetor's Gauntlet with Yogvin Brabon, played by Alex, Edvard Thar, played by John, Bright the Tiefling, played tonight by myself, but normally it's Amai, and then last but not least, Marlin the Magnificent, bearer of the Ring of Eternal Hunger, the most devastating torture device that I've ever personally come up with. Played by Loco 1956. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Everybody say goodnight. We're going off the air.
Everybody.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Good time.
Did you get all that?